Hey guys, today we're going to learn how to do some things within the project work tab of Traction. Now, this is where team leaders are going to spend the majority of their time. This is where you're going to enter information, add data, attach files, answer business questions, load images, and pin things to the storyboard so that people who want to get a status update for the project can do so for themselves. So I will show you how to do all of that in this short video. We're already in the project work tab, and we know this because it's highlighted in blue. And we're on the summary page of the project work tab because it is also highlighted in blue. It just so happens that I'm working on a DMAIC project, and that's why you see the roadmap: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. I'm approximately 15% done with this project. And the way that's calculated is if we scroll down a little bit, you see that in the defined phase, I've already answered two of the business questions and I have pinned those answers to the storyboard. So we're going to continue in the defined phase and we're going to answer this last question. So we're just going to click on the question, what is the voice of the customer? It's going to take us to the DMAIC page where we have the opportunity to include a text answer and we can add an image. We can also upload a file, or if there was a template that is relevant to this business question, you could find that as well over here on the right. So what is the voice of the customer? I happen to be working on a project that I already completed. So I have a PowerPoint deck that is specific to that project. And I'm going to show you how to extract information from an existing PowerPoint deck into Traction. So I have two slides here that are relevant to voice of the customer. One has the circle with all of the pieces of information and then the critical to quality definitions. So I'm going to click on the first slide that's related to VOC, and then I'm going to click anywhere in the gray space around the slide. And that's going to actually put my cursor inside the slide instead of having it in the entire presentation deck. And once I have clicked somewhere in the gray space, I'm going to hit Control A, and that's going to highlight everything that's on that slide. Then I can hit Control C, which is going to copy everything that's on that slide. The reason we have to do this is because, unfortunately, we can't just copy and paste and extract everything from a slide right into Traction. Traction wants us to upload an image, and that means that we have to first save it as a JPEG, PNG, or a GIF. So by highlighting and copying everything on this slide, I can now take it into Paint and create an image. So in order to get Paint to come up, you may have it pinned to your toolbar, or you can just type the word Paint into your toolbar and you see that that application shows up in your list and you can click on it. Once we're in Paint, we can Control V. It's going to paste everything that we just copied from that PowerPoint slide. And then I'm going to save it on my desktop just to make it easy to find. And we're going to call this VOC1. Now I can go back to Traction, click on Add Image, choose File, navigate to the desktop, and double click VOC1. Once I click Save Image, boom, it shows up. It's nice and colorful and graphic. I'm going to do the same thing for the second slide related to voice of the customer. So again, I'm going to click in the gray space. Control A highlights everything. Control C copies everything. I'm going to go back to Paint, create a new file, Control V to paste everything, and I'm going to save this one as VOC2. Once I go back to Traction, I can add another image, choose a file, double click VOC2 and save. Notice that Traction saves the images in the order that you choose them. So your first image is going to show up first, and then your second image is going to show up underneath of that. So it's like a linear storyboard that you're creating here. We do want to pin these images to the storyboard. And what that does is it's going to make sure that anything you enter here actually shows up on the third tab. We'll have a separate video to explain that one. But notice also that the answer box has a red asterisk. That means that we have to enter some sort of text in here as well. So we want the images to show up, but we have to enter some text here in order for this question to be considered by Traction as complete. So what I usually do here, if I have some really nice images, is I just write a little summary of what I learned from the images or what those images represent. So I'll just say VOC for why we needed a COVID restructure of branches. If this were one of the first business questions in a phase, we would actually see a purple next button at the top right, but we don't. We only see previous. And what that means to us is we know this is the last question in this phase for this project of this particular phase in the ROSE map. So instead of next, we're going to scroll all the way down and click Save Answer Instead. That's going to take us back to that summary page. And now you can see that our percent complete went up from 15 to 23. Because if we look in the defined phase, now we have an answer for each one of these business questions and a pin where we put everything on the storyboard. Also, what you see now is we have this appearing a submit for approval button. And if I were ready for the defined phase to be over, I would click submit for approval, and that's going to send a notification to my champion who can now come in here, see all of my project updates, and either approve it to go to the measure phase or perhaps ask some additional questions.